Hey, welcome to In the Middle. This is where you and I get to have a conversation about what we are in the middle of. Yeah, one of the things that we know is that we may not have yet succeeded at the goal that we have for ourselves, but we are paying attention to the lessons that we're learning on the journey. And the other thing that we know is that these lessons we're learning are sometimes even more important than the actual goal itself. And so I can't wait for us to engage in a conversation today.
Sounds
Welcome.
good. Thank you, Amber.
Well, thank you. So, Janice, I'm going to start with a little bit of rapid fire because I want everybody who's watching to get to know you a little bit. So, are you ready?
Let's do it, girl.
Okay, so first, what's your name?
Janice OKK. Janice OKK Graves. I'm hyphenated now.
Oh, okay. So you are hyphenated. Yes. And so there is a Mr. Graves. Yes.
There is.
Very good. Where do you live, Janice?
Harlem, in particular, Hamilton Heights.
Excellent. And what do you do?
I am a K-5 physical education teacher in East Harlem.
Come through educator. Very nice to hear that. Very good. I also had my start in elementary education in Harlem. So
Yes.
very nice to hear that. And what were you in the middle of right before this phone call?
Sister Amber, I was in the middle of making some jollof rice. I am Nigerian, so that is a staple, and I'm trying to make my mother proud. As I was doing that, I was also scrolling through The Root, which is kind of like a Black news media outlet that kind of lets you know what's happening in the Black community. So that's what I was in the middle of.
Oh, very good. So you are a chef, Janice. You like to cook?
I am one who provides nourishment for the let me not even. I wish I enjoyed it more, Amber. But look, we needed something to eat. I had a meal prep for the week, so that's cooking.
There you go. Here we go, meal prep. I am here for it. It definitely saves a lot of time. So, Janice, in previous conversations that we've had here on In the Middle, we have chatted about what it's like to be in the middle of launching a business, becoming a full time artist, about finding oneself again when one wasn't even sure, what she wanted to do with herself. And so I am so excited that we get to welcome you onto the show. And I'm going to let you tell us, what are you in the middle of?
So, Sister Amber, I am in the middle of becoming a first-time mom. Woo,
Yay!
exciting, anxious, all of the above. So, in the middle of this journey, honestly, I can say that I'm a mom now. The kid's in me, it's growing. We're just waiting for him to come earthside. But yeah, just been on this journey of figuring this thing out, trying to figure out what's the type of mother I want to be. Um, and also being in the middle of community. I've had like 6 to 7 friends who have had kids since November. So that's also been nice to come into that community.
All right. Janice, how far along are you?
I am 36 weeks, girl.
Oh, wait. So you might have this baby on this chat right now.
Yeah, this baby could come whenever it likes. We might even have to press pause. Who knows? But we have set a prayer to the Lord that He will come close to that due date because that's what I need.
Oh, wait. So that was my next question. So you are having a boy?
I am having a boy.
Good. That's so excellent.
I was a girl for the longest, but we went for that. What was it? That sonogram appointment, and the doctor was like, "Well, that's one leg, that's two leg, and that is not a third leg." And I was like, "Okay, appreciate you. All right."
Those sonograms are always so interesting to me because I don't know what your experience is like, but I look at it, I'm like, how do you see that?
Ma'am,
All I see are these blobs. I don't know what
look,
is.
I had to, as I was watching her do it, I was just like, man, it was just like clearly amazing to your point, because she's going, I don't see anything. Now, the first inaugural, bless her heart, the kid did not want to cooperate. He was just showing her booty and back. So she couldn't even get much. But the second one, she was just like, we're not playing this today. So he'll figure it out. But it was just so cool. And then you have the images and it's like, oh, wow, technology.
Oh, that is, yes. Well, I remember those days. What has your pregnancy been like?
Um, to be honest, it has not not been too bad. I had no clue what to expect going in, but I will say first trimester kicked my butt. It was kind of like we had just finished the first year of like remote teaching and summer was about to start. And I found myself like in the middle of teaching my kids. Anytime I had a break, I'm like laid out on the couch, feeling very nauseated and whatnot, and very, very tired, which isn't like me. But it's crazy. As soon as that second trimester hit, honey, you couldn't tell me I was a superwoman. So I'm like out walking, I was active before the pregnancy, so that's something I've been trying to keep up. But I would say things have been going well. I kind of feel bad when I go to my prenatal appointments now because the nurse midwife is like asking, she was like, any questions? And I'm like, I mean, no, everything's fine. So girl, we'll see. I'm sure I'll have story after he comes.
Well, we'll save those for later. You tell me what happens when he
Yes,
comes.
ma'am.
I
Yes,
don't know.
ma'am.
I think that it's intentional that they don't tell you things until after you deliver. I
Okay.
really do. There are things that happened in my delivery. I was like, now this did not come up in the class. Y'all didn't even allude to this even
Come on now. Come on.
coming out your body. And
Ma'am.
the epidurals doing funny things.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep it to myself, but we'll talk. We'll come back together
Oh,
again
you
after
already
you
know.
have said baby boy.
Let's do it.
But I'm so glad to hear that that it's been a smooth pregnancy thus far. And I hear you. The second trimester was by far my favorite.
Yes,
Is
absolutely.
is what I consider to be like cute pregger walking down the
Come on.
street.
Come on. Okay. Belly just perfectly
Okay.
round. Yes.
Yes. Um, so anyway, so I heard you say that you're in the middle of becoming a mom and trying to figure out, what kind of mom you want to be, as well as this newfound community. Obviously having a baby is a life-changing experience, and it brings so many new people, so many new decisions, just a fully evolved life experience is about to happen for you. So, what have you enjoyed about being in the middle of becoming a mom so far?
I've enjoyed, well, I would say like the first thing, I've just enjoyed seeing Joseph, who is my husband, just his excitement. Like, girl, Joseph wanted a kid right off the bat. And if it was up to him, our first year, I would have been pregnant. But that wasn't my ministry. The Lord had not told me such. But it's just so exciting to like, I don't know, just he's already like calling him son. He's talking to him. Like you would think they have their own relationship. And it's just, I don't know, very affirming, like just seeing the affection of a father. Because not to assume that all mothers are affectionate, because we all have different temperaments, but I am the one birthing the kids, so we're gonna have a connection whether he likes it or not. So it's just been really dope seeing Joseph's connection to it. Even my parents, like this is their first grandchild. My dad has, traditional Nigerian father. He was already just like, where's my grandchild? And so now he's already just like, my dad, he's been chronically ill, but it's just nice to see like this bring like a new energy into him, knowing that he's about to welcome his first grandchild. So it's their first. So, my mom always says she's that chill Nigerian mother, but like she's low key starting to get like really just like, oh my goodness, like how are you feeling? And calling her, got nicknames for the kids. So I've just enjoyed that. I've enjoyed sometimes just sitting and just thinking about what type of kid he's going to be. Like I have no clue, but I look at how Joseph and I are different personalities and thinking like, oh, is he going to get this from me? Is he going to get that from Joseph? Is he going to have his own thing? So that's just been really nice. And my community of like women who have given birth, because Amber, contrary to what people might think, I know the announcements be fooling people at our church. They be thinking I'm all extroverted, but if you really know me, you know I'm an introvert. I actually am perfectly fine with a book. Stimulation is a bit much for me. Yeah. But now I've just found myself walking with these women, friends, sisters, and just learning so much from them. They've started their journey, and I'm just excited for to grow up in this tribe, and like our children are going to be kind of around the same age, and to see what it becomes, honestly, in the future.
I know, I hear that. It does bring out a new community for you. And it sounds like you get to see this new side of your family and of Joe that you just didn't have the opportunity to come out before. Oh. So Janice, how has this changed you? What has surprised you about yourself?
Mhm.
What have you seen in yourself as you've been in the middle of preparing for baby boy that you may not have known about yourself before?
That I have not known about myself. Let's see. Well, I thought I was really adaptable to change, but I'm really not. And, I would say I'm a confident person, but, and for the most part, I am. But like, there have been like these insecurities that have been coming out, particularly around how my body's changing. Like, I thought I was going to embrace like the growing belly and, potential curves and all of this jazz. And then the disrespect of the stretch marks and cellulite have caused me to like, girl, have me in a tailspin for a minute if I'm keeping it all the way real, Amber. And, as someone who, college athlete, like even past that, like really just big into like fitness and health. And, in a sense, I can control how my body like looks because I know the things that I eat, what will happen. I know when I lift this much, this will happen. And not having COVID happen, so the gym's closed, so wasn't even able to keep up with any of that. And then it's just like, ooh, muscles are starting to feel a little looser, like joints and stuff. So not being able to do that, and I really surprised myself at like how self-conscious I was starting to become of like, I don't know, this pregnant body. Like I would find myself sometimes in sweatshirts instead of things that actually fit. And it was just, oh, it was a wow for me because I was like, I have never obsessed over like my body in this way. And, I thank God for my husband because he is always there with an affirming word. But it's taught me like, there's some things in life we actually just can't control. Like you can eat as much as you can like do everything right and
Mhm.
still something else could take place, something totally unexpected. So it's taught me that I've had to like take a step back and just be like, okay, what's like important? Like what's the lesson out of this? And for me, it was just like, you know what? You are growing a whole human. Okay. Can we talk about that? All right. He is healthy. Praise God. Okay. And this body, like, it's okay. It's supposed to change. It's not supposed to be static. So that that moment of unease with how I was like changing physically really surprised me because I never thought I would be that person.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, you talked about control, that you had to let go of some of that control. And one of the things you brought up, and recognizing that your body's changing and you're sort of experiencing things and feelings about yourself that you've been secure in up until now,
Yeah.
that presented itself in an entirely new situation and way of being for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
what have you, um, I guess, where else do you see any other values changing or evolving in this process?
Let me see, values changing or evolving. Well, actually, this is one that has come up. So, with about I work.
Yeah.
So with that being said, been trying to figure out the whole like leave policy, like how much paid leave, how much unpaid leave. Very disrespectful system, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. How,
Disrespectful.
however, I've always put like my work, like to me, my job has like it's like okay, my marriage and then like work is really close. It be right there because I want to be the best at what I do. Especially in the field that I'm at now with teaching young children. Like I really take that as it's very important to me. Like I make sure I give my all. But I'm realizing I've had to, we start to think through some things like planning, like, what's next year going to look like? What's it going to look like when I go back? And there would have been a time that I was willing to put like personal life on the back burner to make sure career continues to advance.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, oh my goodness, like it's becoming the opposite for me. It's like, what is best for my family now? And work must come secondary. It's not even an if and, but like, so that value for me was just like, phew, like I had a feeling it would happen, but I was still so secure in my like field of work and my job, and that's all we do. But now that I'm about to have my own child, I'm just like, oh no, the benefit of like this family unit that is about to grow must take priority over everything else. And so that's definitely been a value that I'm seeing shifting, and I know that's going to continue to shift. So
Mm. Oh, so does that scare you, encourage you? How do you feel about those shifting values? Because you know what you're saying is, as an athlete, yes, you again, like you're going back to when you're talking about your body, that
mhm,
you're recognizing, you know, you need to take you're growing for two, you're eating for two, you need to take care of this other living person.
yeah.
And so it's sort of shifting what your priorities are, and then also how you spend your time. So as all of that's happening and all these ways of being that have made you who Janice is today, and as you see them getting ready to change and shift again,
Mhm.
how do you feel about those changes?
Girl, it scares me, Amber. It scares me. Oh my goodness. I am very much so type A to a T. I have my list. I have my check boxes. You know, I plan in advance. I'm not a last minute person. I actually that type of stuff makes me anxious. And now it's like all of that is being turned on its head, whether I like it or not. So it does scare me because it's going to be such a huge change. Like I've been doing what I've been doing for, I consider myself a kind of real adult. Like when I hit 23 and like moved away from home and everything. But I was just like, I've been doing what I've been doing on my own for quite a while now. And it's all about to change. And so I think for me, I'm just trying to find the silver lining. Like I know as I'm saying it that like it's not a bad thing. Like even though it's going to be different, like there's going to be joy that's going to come from this. There's going to be so many amazing new positives that I won't even like be thinking about the things of the past. But it's like until it starts to culminate, like comes, like for instance, when the kid actually comes and I start to see those values changing, but I also have this amazing, you know, human being that we're taking care of and nourishing and raising and gonna be a great citizen and this, that, and the other. It's like, you know what? There's some excitement there. So I do believe that the fear will turn to excitement in appreciation. But I would say right now, like I find myself kind of just like sweaty palms, like, okay, how's this gonna play out? It's so different.
Yeah. I love the way, Janice, that you are acknowledging the fear you feel right now and simultaneously holding on to the joy and you're looking forward to what you know will be excitement,
Yes.
and all of this will work itself out and make sense eventually. And I think we can have both of those feelings at the same time when we're in the middle
Yeah.
of our journeys, right? Like
Yeah.
right now it feels this way, and I know it's going to get to this other place where I know a whole lot more by that point than I know right now.
Absolutely. And you see it in so many, like if I were honestly, I'm always talk to like my friends and family about like having a spirit of remembrance. You know, a lot of times as we're like embarking on new journeys or in the middle of something, like we forget. And I mean, I'm a believer for those that don't know. Let me go ahead and put that on the record. I have seen how God has like shifted seasons, and I've seen like from marriage, from, you know, starting new endeavors, like leaving a field that I was in for like 5, 6 years and completely, you know, going 180. So it's just like there was fear in all of those things. There were fear in living off of one income in New York City. Hello. So I'm just like, but when I see after the fear subsided and it's like you're doing it, and slowly as you keep doing it, the fears, and then finally you get to this place where it's just like, okay, we're all right. So I know the same thing is going to happen here. So I think that's why I haven't like tailspin and the fear hasn't like crippled me. But it's still, like I said, just going to acknowledge like it is a feeling I feel, but I also have hope that I know that it's going to change and evolve into something better.
I love that, Janice. So I think we may have already touched on this, but what's been hard? What has been the hardest for you in this process or being in the middle of getting ready
Yeah,
to become?
that's real. What has been hardest? I would say, I mean, COVID. I think I really, really, really would have liked to be around some of my like sister girlfriends who were having kids, who have had kids, just to be able to hold their little ones and just be like, oh, I'm gonna have one too. Like, I think even just having those things would have been helpful, would be helpful with the fear. So I would say that's definitely been hard, to be honest. I'm teaching remotely until I go back to work. So that's even been kind of tough because some days I wake up and I'm just tired, Amber. Like the only thing that gets me up is just knowing that those kindergartners are gonna be waiting for Miss OKK at 9:40. So you need to get online. But it's been tough. Constantly staring at the screen when sometimes all I want to do is just like rest and rub my belly or read a book about parenting. I mean, there are many, but it, yeah, that lack of just accessibility to people that I love, coupled with the isolation of COVID, has been a lot tougher than I thought. And even for an introvert like myself, who at first I was chilling, I was thriving, I was like, pandemic, where? Like, this is great. And now it's just like, oh, I'm good. I'm yeah. Let's go ahead. Summer, spring, let's go so we can be outside safely. But that's been really tough, I would have to say, because even we would have traveled more. Being able to see my family a few more times before our son comes, and being able to go visit my husband's family a few more times before we can't. So we just kind of have to make do, and yeah, it can be tough.
Yeah. Janice, you just said we have to make do. What are the ways that you're making do? Because it sounds like, you normally would be around a lot more people and getting
Mhm,
some practice in by hanging out with your friends' kids and just
mhm,
surrounding yourself with family
mhm.
physically, which we can't do right now. So, what are
Exactly.
some of the ways you've worked around that?
So for me, I would say a big thing has been intentionality. So even though I'm, I'll be on work all day on my laptop, and then I just kind of want to rest my eyes. But for the friends that like I really know are my support system, and we just decided monthly we pick up the phone, whether it's a phone call or whether it's a video chat, and we just do it. And it's one of those things. Some of them I schedule, some of them it's just like we just said, just call. Who knows? So just call. Let's not make it too complicated. And I have to say that has been a godsend, just to laugh, to catch up, to hear how they're doing, to share how I'm doing, to be encouraging each other. And I'm telling you, I get off those calls or off those video chats and just cheesing. Like I love it. So that has been really key. I'm really close with my sister and my brother. So, we have our like little sibling chat probably every week or so. And, just picking on one another, but also like encouraging each other with the season of life we're in. That's been great. Yeah, and I would say Joseph is, he is really good at just being like, "So, what you want to do? What should we do? You want to just go right out to Westchester?" And I'm like, "No, not really." But he doesn't give up, which I have to give him because I can be a Debbie Downer at times, and he's really good at just about like, "Come on, let's get out the house. Let's just go take a walk." I think you'll feel better, and he's right. I always do feel better. So those have been some of the ways that's just trying to make do. And my whole thing is I was like, I just gotta make do until like late May when like the weather can stay at 50, 60 degrees and can be outside.
Yeah, I heard two things. One thing I heard was that you are letting people speak into your life, even
Yes.
when you may not feel like being there in that moment, but you still know that you need them in your life. You need to hear from them.
Absolutely.
You need your husband is like, no, 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 we're going to go do this. And even
Mhm.
when you don't want to, that you go ahead and do it. And I
Yeah.
think that is really important that that we allow the people in our lives to care for us.
Yes.
And, even when we know we might not feel like doing something or
Mhm.
showing up in a certain way, that we can trust that the people that care for us um, are doing their best to help us out when they recognize that we need help, and to let people
Absolutely.
help us during that time. So I really like that you said that.
Yes, independence. Like, don't get me wrong, I was definitely that girl, back in the day, INDEPE, all of that stuff. It's like, Boosie, we have evolved from that. So it's just when I'm in this place now where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not used to depending on people. I think it comes with just being like the firstborn, like always you kind of set the mark for everybody else. And even just in my community, being one of the first, like one of the few that left my hometown and ventured to New York with, just a desire to learn more and this, that, and the other, and not really having anyone to lean on. But if there's something that God has shown me throughout all of this, it's like, you need community. I'll never forget the first time I learned that was when I moved to New York for grad school back in like 2012. And I knew my roommate, like we were kind of friendly, but I didn't really know anybody. I'm this little southern girl from Mississippi, just in the big city now. I thought I grew up in the city, but clearly I don't know what that was.
Mhm.
And in the midst, I had my youngest brother was actually terminally ill.
Mm.
So it was kind of this game of like, oh, is this the day, such and such? And I remember that my core group of fans, there are 4 young ladies who they would make fun of me in class because I would always be falling asleep, but had the nerve to sit on the front row. And they would just be over there like, look at her. And so I didn't know them too well, but they would be friendly with me. And the thing is, when my brother did pass in my first semester of grad school, and I found myself in a tailspin of like, oh my gosh, like where am I going to find the money to go home? Because like broke grad student and return, and we're about to go into finals, like emailing professors. I hope they'll understand. And I'll never forget, like I was still trying to do it all on my own. I don't even think I fully let them know until like the day I was like, yeah, my brother passed. I'll be back in like 5 days. And
Mm.
I came back, and when I tell you, they would not leave me alone. And till this day, I am forever grateful for that because it showed me like it's okay to let people, like you said, speak into your life. It's okay to let people take care of you. It's okay to let people just give you space to just emote. And they provided all of that. So I always say that was where it really started for me. And I've just kind of seen it take shape with different relationships as I've moved forward. So you're right about that, Amber, picking up on that like you need people to speak into all of that. And I've definitely needed it in this season.
Yeah, because when we are doing things that we've never done before, the nature of that
Oh
uh,
yeah.
brings a lot of challenging emotions to the table. And certainly, we can try to hold on really tight and have control, which we all know at the end of the day, we are not in control of much.
Right.
It just makes it so much harder.
Hmm.
Right? So where the people around us can show up for us and do the things we can't do, I think we have to let people do that for
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because then it gives us space to not work so hard to be in control of everything, that
Yes.
what we can give other people to do, and what we can allow other people to help us with, that does free us up to be able to do the things that we're trying to do. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You're preparing yourself and your heart emotionally to show up for and take care of
Okay.
a little one, right? And I think that the more that we sort of widen our circle and let people in,
Yes.
particularly in these times,
Yes.
that it really does strengthen us.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Amber. Like, if COVID showed us nothing else, it showed us that life is not meant to be done alone. I am convinced of that through and through. I'm
Mhm.
not saying you gotta have a whole like 20, 50 friends, but I'm saying there are at least one or two people that need to know you enough and that you can be transparent enough with, they can check up on you, or and who have your well-being as a priority in their life. And I think, and I do believe God like will provide someone for all of us who will put us as a priority in their life. So
Amen, Janice. I love it. Oh, and I'm so grateful for you. So, how can we pray for you?
So main prayer just for a healthy pregnancy. I'm well, healthy delivery because the pregnancy has been going well. So
Mhm.
just praying no complications, that our son would just come and just be as healthy and as strong as he wants to be. And also pray for the postpartum period. And I know we forget about that fourth trimester a lot. And honestly, that's probably been the biggest thing I've been focusing on. So just, praying for patience with myself as I'm healing, and to just be okay again with letting people take care of you, because I know I'm going to need to lean on, friends, family, as we go through this. So yeah, that. And lastly, future decisions. We're going to be making some changes, we believe. So we're just trying to work through what that looks like and just praying for wisdom and discernment. So yeah.
Absolutely. We will be praying for you for all of those things.
Thank
And
you.
the last question I'm going to ask you speaks to something you brought up a little bit earlier, which you said you were looking forward and looking ahead
Yeah.
to the warm weather,
Mhm.
as one of the ways that you've been just kind of dealing with the challenges of being in this season. And so that speaks to my last question, which is in 6 months,
Yes.
we're going to come back and let everybody know how you're doing. So, in light of what you've shared with us today, what are we going to say about Janice and the little one and the OKK Graves family?
Yes, we are going to say that Josiah is doing well. Oh, well, I just gave his name away. This is Josiah. That Josiah is doing well. He's strong, that he has become a joy in our lives. I'm going to tell you all that we're just doing great as a family. Um, I'm still teaching, but I've been kind to myself and not rushed back, and taking the time that I think I've needed to take. Um, yeah, and I think that's it. Like I'm believing that the family unit is going to grow even stronger with this new addition to our family. So I look forward to giving updates and pictures of him when that time comes.
Well, thank you, Janice. And for everybody who's watching, I promise I will send pictures and give you all updates of how Janice and Josiah are doing, and Joe as well, obviously, their whole family. You know that we are all in the middle of something. And I really love what Janice pointed out to us today, which is that we need to surround ourselves with community and be okay letting people help us. And so that's a really important lesson that Janice has learned. And we are so interested to know, what are you in the middle of and what lessons have you been learning? Let us know in the comments, and we are so grateful for you watching. Have a great day. Bye.